What's up, my fellow Dinobots and Predacons, and welcome back to more Transformers Armada. So now we are moving on to the Atlantic Ocean level. Now this is the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, so you're going to ask, how are we going to fight giant robots out here? Well, there's luckily some land that kind of goes around in a circle out here, some rocks, if you will. It's a bit of a rim, shall we say, and too bad it's not in the Pacific Ocean, or else the giant robot jokes would ensue from that. And now if I was recording this LP 5 years ago, like I wanted to, I could not make such jokes, but this is 2013 and I can make all the Pacific Rim jokes I want. So now we're fighting new versions of the light units, and they have shields, and they're really annoying, and they also throw grenades at us, so they are exceptionally annoying for that. Their shields block all small arms fire, so even using our most powerful primary weapon we have right now, which would be skirmish, it would be pretty damn nearly useless against them. Fortunately, Spark Jump will go right through that. He'll also arc to the multitude of enemies in the area. The setup I have going on right now also has, what is it, Watchdog, which is the mines that attach to enemies. And using the two of them in combination really makes short work of these guys. I've tried it with other setups, and it just takes forever to kill these guys. And coincidentally, this is the first setup that I tried the first time I played the game, and it ended up being the one that works out the best, I think, overall. And I'll be using this setup again later in the game for a very specific purpose. You guys know what that is? Look at him flail. Yeah, being the fact that they run around like that while the mines are attached to them pretty much makes them vulnerable because they can't attack you back. So these are it's just useful for so many different reasons. When you shoot when the mines attach to enemies, they have like a timer that causes them to explode or something like that. I'm not really sure how it works. But if you shoot the mines when they're attached to something, they'll explode. So if you attach them with, if you attach it to the enemy and then hit them with Spark Jump, they'll blow up almost instantly. So it's really, really, really good at taking out these guys, especially when they can block most of our attacks. You can tell they're the ones that can launch grenades at you because they'll be orange instead of yellow, and like I said, they're slightly tougher. And these are going to be, this is the norm from now on. These are the guys who are going to be fighting for the rest of the game, so you better get used to it. I'm not going to do this entire level right away. I'm just going to get to the first minicon here, the only minicon level actually, and then I'm going to go do some backtracking. You heard right, ladies and gentlemen, some backtracking. I'm going to go back to the previous levels and get all the minicons that this minicon will allow me to collect, and I'll elaborate more on that when we pick the thing up. I can totally not see that guy through the glare of the minicon itself. He was clever by hiding from me. Anyway, let's see what we got here. He's like a funky little Indy car. His name is Slipstream, and he allows us to have glider wings. Now, to me, I like the fact that we can fly in this game, but it just seems like such an awful gimmick when you consider the fact that Armada had Jetfire, and this game was made in 2004, so this was after the Armada cartoon had been on television long enough to introduce fucking Jetfire, so just let us play as Jetfire. Ugh. Or, let's play as a Decepticon character and play as Starscream or Cyclonus, but that was not going to happen. There's also one Datacon in the level, so I'm going to fly over and get that real quick and demonstrate the wings. The problem is, once you've set off, you really can't turn around. It's gliding wings, but there's no thrust or anything like that going on. It's another character we could play as if we were playing as Decepticons. Whatever. You are dependent on the wind. You're at the mercy of the wind, essentially, when you take off with these things. So you got to be paying attention to the rain direction in this level and see where it's going to take you. Now, I can't get back, unfortunately, now, so I'm just going to die and go back to HQ and go to the levels and pick up all the minicons that I can now access with this new minicon. This is what happens when you die, just to demonstrate it. I'll never show it again on screen. The screen turns black and white, and it says, "You have been put into stasis lock." Anyway, now we return to the Amazon, and when we return to a previous level after we've completed it, you notice that it's going to give us some highlights of things that have changed in the level, and primarily it's just showing off that there are bigger, badder enemies in the area. Instead of there's now a spider tank up here, and there are heavy units all over the damn place. Let's see, you can see over the horizon here. Good lord, this is a huge level. This is really impressive for back in the day. You can see all the mini-cons we have access to now. I'm only going to get some of them are data cons, some of them are mini-cons. I'm only going to get the mini-cons. Like I said, I want to collect every mini-con in the game, but I don't really care so much as collecting the data cons. So I adjusted my setup again. We have skirmish back now. Oh, I missed him. Oh well. Ah, crap. Oh, actually, there's one more I can still get if I can just try to salvage this real quick. Yeah, maybe I should kill that guy before I attempt to land on that platform, because I don't think I'll be able to get up there. But there's a very powerful mini-con up there, so I definitely want to get that as soon as possible. Over here is a not-so-powerful mini-con, but it is a nice gimmick. It's a hilarious gimmick, in fact. I really like this mini-con for that. It is a tractor beam, simply called Tractor for whatever reason. I will never use that mini-con in practice. I'm going to go ahead and cut away here. Yeah, I will never use that mini-con in practice. I swapped over to Lookout, the sniper rifle, for this as well. So I can try to snipe that heavy unit up there without getting taken out in the process. You know, don't think I can hit him, really. Alright, you know what? Let's hitch a ride here. Nice thing about the glider wings is we can land on top of dropships. There's also a part later in the game where you can land inside a dropship, and that will allow the hilarity to ensue from there, as I will demonstrate when the time comes, if I can manage. And the problem is, it's very hard to make a smooth landing with these things, especially with the ragdoll physics. You end up just kind of ragdolling off the surface that you've collided with. And if you try to land on one of the dropships and this happens, then you just end up bouncing off and hurling to the ground, which is not good. So I'm going to try to see if I can snipe this guy. My primary weapon is in range now. I think I almost have... Oh, crap, rockets. Yeah, if those rockets... If I get too far, I'm not going to be able to land on the damn thing, so I better hurry up here. Come on. There we go. Alrighty. Okay. So, here's the most powerful secondary weapon in the game. This is Hailstorm. This is a heavy cluster of rockets. This is basically the same thing as Failsafe, except twice as powerful. So that is pretty awesome. He's a blue mini-con, which is unique, I suppose. And there's another one over here I'm going to try to get, and that should be all for this run. I'm going to come back and get some more later, but these are all the mini-cons. I want to get all the combat mini-cons. The rest I think are just data cons, or mini-cons I won't use for a while. So let's go ahead and get this one now. He's way up there on the hill, and this one I'm pretty much just going to grab him and go, because there are a ton of spider tanks all around it up here, and it's just overall not a good location for this type of shenanigans. Way up here on this high rock. You don't think that this is as isolated as it is, but it's pretty hard to get to. Ooh, that was close. And this is going to be a new primary weapon, actually. The most powerful one we have right now. This one is Firefight. He is a super heavy blaster. And he goes bang bang. He has a slow rate of fire, but he... that was a really cool transition. I couldn't have done that again if I tried. But yeah, you can charge him up though and fire a really huge freaking blast that vibrates the controller to death. And it also completely misses if you're aiming at the spider tank. Let me demonstrate Hailstorm there. And then Firefight has, like I said, slow rate of fire, big strong projectiles, and then the charge shot does a lot of splash damage as well. So here we are on the Arctic level again, looking for the mini-cons there. There's only one or two here that require Slipstream to get to, but I mainly want to go and tear apart this base again and get all the ones I didn't get last time. I'm pretty sure I got mostly all of them before the Starscream fight happened, but there might have been one or two that I didn't get. Unfortunately, there's one I know for a fact I didn't get. Here we go. Kind of looks like Starscream's Minicon Swindle, which is probably intentional. This is High Gear. He has the dash ability, the same dash ability that what do you call it? Cyclonus had in our fight with him. I'm going to demonstrate that right away. Now we have a partial yellow Minicon team. You can see the enormous health boost that gives us. Alright, this is one of the most unique Minicons in the game, but it's also one of the most useful. This is Build Up. He is an auto repair Minicon. And he is good for boss fights because he can, again, he gradually restores your health over time, which is really nice when the only other way you can replenish your health is by killing other enemies. And if you're too low to fight other enemies, then how are you going to replenish your health? You're just going to die. So Build Up is good for that, and I'll be using him a lot throughout the game actually, but he takes away the ability to have High Gear or the other, not High Gear, Slipstream, or the other Minicons that are useful for covering certain levels terrain. Here's a good demonstration of how these powerful weapons work, firefighting Hailstorm against these heavy units. Again, it's easy against these large enemies, but against small enemies, Firefight is actually very hard to use because it's very hard to hit small enemies with this thing. So it's not as efficient as it looks. It's powerful, but it's not good overall, really. And if you miss with that charge shot, you're kind of screwed. It reminds me a lot of Samus's arm cannon and the color of the projectiles that it fires and the fact that you can charge it up. There we go. Yeah, Hailstorm is just retardedly powerful. And then High Gear is pretty cool. The whole thing is consumed when you, the whole charge is consumed when you use it once. You gotta wait for it to recharge before you can use it again. But that boost of speed is really nice though. And you can boost before you take off with Slipstream and get a nice boost in the air as well. But it's mainly good for speeding up. You can also use it in vehicle mode to speed up. That's mainly what it's used for, but I like to use it in combat for evading large attacks. There's a jet sniper over there, and I don't want to have anything to do with him, so he's going to get hailstormed if they would actually reach, which they didn't. So we're just going to try our best to see if I can make it over there without getting killed horribly. All I need to do is pick up the Minicon, that's it. Come on! Okay, that was close. Yeah, I think he's dead. Ow. Soft landing enough. Alright, let's see what we have here. Oh, another one with the same character model as one we just picked up. This is Comeback. He is a reactivation. He basically gives you, kind of like the Defibrillator in Rage, a free respawn whenever you die. But it's hard to recommend it. I actually don't think I've ever really tried it before, but it's hard to recommend it because you have to occupy that one slot with it. And that's actually based on the likelihood that you'll die at all, which is bad. So anyway, we're back at the Deep Amazon now. This is basically just going to be a Minicon run, this whole video. And here's one of my favorite secondary weapons in the game right here. This is Airburst. He is a flat cannon, and he's a purple Minicon. We're going to go ahead and equip him right now and demonstrate him, because you see all these jet snipers floating around everywhere? Remember how obnoxious those things are to shoot down without this thing? Yeah, it has like a proximity detonation near airborne enemies, and it knocks them out of the air and then they fall to their death. It's hysterical and it's awesome. It's not that powerful. In fact, it can't really do a whole lot of damage to ground enemies, even though it has this amazing amount of splash damage. It's still just relatively little damage. Then, of course, we need to go land over here on this dropship and pick up the Minicons on that. There's one over there in the ground too. I think it's a datacon. I might have to make a second trip to this level just because there's a few things that I need to get later. And this video is getting really long, so I'm gonna have to cut it off the video and save. Okay, this is Twister. He is a vortex projector, as you can see, and is a very powerful secondary weapon that launches all light enemies into the air. But it again is consumed with a single use. The whole charge is consumed. So this is what I was talking about earlier in the last video when we were in this level. Is you can kind of go over here out in the middle of nowhere and salvage for mini-cons out here. There's another one down there, and there's another one over there. There's another one over on the island to my left. That's going to be the last one I get, probably. Since there's no really easy way to get back once you get over there. But right now there's one more I need to get before I get all the ones down here. I'm going to go all the way around to the back of the temple here. Wait for the dropship to circle around. It's that one behind the waterfall there. One thing you gotta give this game a lot of credit for is, you know, it encourages exploration and, you know, choices and, you know, all those open worldness and all that other stuff, and replayability and backtracking and all this other great stuff. I'm trying to phrase it better than I am right now. But this one is covert, and he is invisibility, so we can be a stealth robot if we so choose. Not as overpowered as the stealth in War for Cybertron, unfortunately, but it is pretty cool. I've never really gotten to use it efficiently, but as you can see, it turns you invisible. It has a very high cost though, so you really can't get away with using it as anyone other than Optimus, and it doesn't last very long either. So it's hard to recommend, but it's pretty cool if you were interested in it. Now, I would like to see a full blue minicon team that uses it, but that would be difficult considering two of the most powerful weapons in the game are blue minicons, and I really don't think that anyone could possibly have enough energon slots for the stealth field in addition to those two, but there might be some other ones that'll work. Yeah, these commandos right here, I'm not really prepared to fight them with airburst equipped. And as you can see, they're going to EMP me and disable my weapons. So we're going to run away! Fly away! All I want to do is get the last couple minicons in the ground here. That was a datacon just picked up. We want to get the two other cons on the ground here. And then we'll be done for this video. Again, there's more in this level, but I'm going to come back and get those later because this video is going to be ridiculously long. Alright, so that's another datacon. Now we just have to get that last one over here. Ow. Just transform, jump into a house. Blow it up for that. Again, the airburst is very flashy, but it's not, it doesn't do as much damage as it looks like it's doing. It's more, bark is worse than its bite. I mean, this is knockdown. He's an EMP blast, and I don't particularly care for it, because you have to basically consume all of your energon to use it. So I don't think it's really worth it. Haha! Out melee the commando. That's pretty nice.